You have to know that the kings, the descendancy, the Babylonian kings themselves are supposed to be descended from these ancient mighty men. The mighty men are descended from the Anunnaki gods. So this is Hammurabi, the sixth king of Babylon, which is representing a king, a kingly descendancy of man, which can trace his lineage directly back, all the way back to Genesis 6, when these Anunnaki forefathers originally initiated this breeding with the daughters of mankind to produce these beings. Now, this symbol is heavy-duty, layered, to just get you to see what you're seeing here. You're seeing three depictions. You're seeing Shamesh, Utu Shamesh, and then you're seeing Enki being further displayed, and then Enki even further represents Anu. So all of these gods are still carrying out this same proclamation, this same call for order amongst the kingdoms of men. And this is an order they're hijacking because we, the kingdoms of men, are supposed to have our own particular dominion over the earth. And they are covertly hijacking the dominion through these judgments, of which this law code is also known. It's also known as a judgment code, which is quite fitting because that's what we're in the time of, this judgment, revealing about this serpent judge of Dan that's being brought about by the work of these unicorns, which represents the mysticism, the mystery schools, English, Egyptian Freemasonry, which has all been spawned by the knowledge of these ancient Sumerians that have now come through us through the histories of the Akkadians / Babylonians. These are the two serpents. If this represents the Nephilim descendancy that became the human kings, even the kings of Babylon, and then this represents the Anunnaki gods, the Anunnaki high lords, Shamesh, and even Enki, as we see now, the flowing waters on the shoulders. This is the fulfillment of this symbolism, traces itself directly to that of Enki, and then Enki gets his rule from Anu, his father. So this is where the right of Enki is to rule on earth and to be this prince of this world, comes directly from Anu. Serpent on the right. The scepter being passed, the very same representation here, the two serpents. Now, this is a fractal connection. You have to abandon the rigors of doctrine and tradition and just simply see it as it visually connects with the same symbolisms that are there. This is not planned. This is just how the Spirit can allow you to see the truth in the entirety of everything. And one thing that will help you begin to understand this is that Yahweh, if you research very diligent, you will find out in the most ancient of times, the Hebrew represented, or the Hebrew record represented Yahweh as having a wife. And then Yahweh is further symbolized with the moon, which is both light and dark. In other words, male and female, or androgynous. Yahweh is double. And then this is why we see this goat being further associated with wisdom, which is now associated with Lucifer, the light bearer, the bringer of wisdom, which uses this occult, or this feminine version of the occult, which is this romanticized Ishtar, which now forms this double identity of this androgynous figure, Yahweh. And this necessarily, Baphomet, is not Yahweh himself, but it is a symbolism of the inspired occultic philosophies of this very ancient Hebrew ideological understanding of this ancient Hebrew God. And you can do the in-depth research and find it. There's your two serpents amongst the arch. Here's your two serpents amongst the arch passing the scepter. Down below, there's your hooves.